What is going on, guys? It is your boy K-Mac coming at you with another one of those theories. This time's going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a cartoon. It's going to actually be one of my all-time favorite shows. It's super popular, super hot right now. It is Breaking Bad. Now, I'm going to go ahead and warn you guys on this series. I'm going to be doing these videos probably every other week or so. When the next new episodes come out, I'll update the theories and maybe have new theories for you guys. I'm just going to go ahead and warn you right now, though, that these videos are probably most likely going to contain spoilers. So if you've not seen the episodes and you don't want them to be spoiled, you can go ahead and click off right now. No hard feelings. I get you completely. I wouldn't want mine spoiled either. But we're basically going to talk about Season 6, Episode 1 and 2 in this theory, or in these theories and in this video. So if you've not seen those and you don't want them to be halfway spoiled, I'm not going to be giving major points away, but just, little things here and there will probably have spoilers. So if you don't want to listen to that, you can go ahead and click off right now. But first off, we're going to be jumping into the first theory, which is that Walt faked his own death. Now, this takes place the very first episode. The first thing you see is a flash forward into when Walt returned to his home, which was destroyed. There's skateboards out back. Everything's destroyed. His house has been condemned. It's completely stripped out and everything. But it doesn't tell you who did that or why. It just, is burned down, basically. Not burned down, but like ripped apart. It also says spray painted Heisenberg on the wall, which indicates Walt's secret identity isn't so secret in the future. So it makes it kind of hard to picture that he's a free man. Like, how can you be Heisenberg, all these crimes against you, and not either be in jail or being hunted down by the FBI, CIA, all agencies like that? There's no way he could come back to his own house with that kind of heat on him. There's just no way. Basically, there's no way he could do that. He would be so busted in like no time if he were to do that. Also, in the previous season, in season 5, episode 1, you see him wandering the nation, eating at Denny's, buying machine guns that come with instructor's manuals that M60 he's got in his trunk, which is another theory we'll get to, what he's going to do with that. Basically, he wouldn't be able to do that. He had this idea before with the help of the vacuum repairman in a previous season, and maybe this time he's actually going for it, to convincingly fake his own death so he doesn't have to look over his shoulder for the rest of his life. Another part of this theory is that when his neighbor Carol sees him, she drops her bag of groceries and they go everywhere. And it's not just from fear of her neighbor being the murderer. Maybe it's like she has a fear of seeing a ghost. She's like, who knows who that is? Her face goes completely white, and basically she looks like she's seeing someone that is just basically a ghost, that someone that's already dead. And basically no one will ever believe that she saw Walt if Walt is dead. That's basically why Walt waved to her and didn't have any kind of fear from that. Basically, no one's going to believe her if everyone thinks he's dead, right? So that's basically all there is to that theory. Is actually one of the really good points so far. But let's go ahead and jump into the second theory, which is that Skyler is going to break into bad also, which means that she is going to become a criminal as well. Basically, we already know that she launders the money and all that stuff, but she's not really into like being the bad person. She just does all this behind the scenes stuff at the car wash and all that stuff with the money. But usually all of her color plays a big role in the costumes in this show. If you've not noticed that already, but all of her costumes are blue. Basically, it's like a happier color. She's like a normal color. She's not a villainous color or anything like that. It's a real happy color. So she's not into being a villain. But in the first episode of season 6, she's wearing tan. She's wearing other colors like that. She's wearing black in some of the scenes. And basically, there's just a giant change. She's never worn anything like that before, which could be like a precursor towards where her demeanor is turning towards. Also, towards the end of the first episode of season 6, when she figures out when Walt tells her that Lydia is in fact an old business associate trying to get him back into the business, she fucking snaps on her and goes out there and tells her to never come back, to never do this, and she gets right in her face. And basically, she gets a darker side. She really nuts up on this, and she gets real dark about it, and it shows a side of Skyler that we've never seen on the show before, which is a very interesting point, that she could be starting to turn. Once you get a little bit of power and pride, it's not like on meth. Once you have one hit, you want more. It becomes addicting, and maybe she'll be the one who knocks, basically, if you guys get that reference. But we'll see later on the season. We'll get back to that theory. But moving on to theory number 3, that Walt does in fact get back into the meth game. Now, this one's kind of a stretch, but I've seen weirder things in this show, So basically, when Walt gets to the Schrader's, which is Hank's house, he kind of walks by Hank's employees to bring in the box and files, and he says something like along the lines of "perks of being the boss, huh?" And he says it in a very like upbeat kind of way, like he knows what it's like to be the boss. He likes being the boss, and he sees all the boxes of stuff, of all the evidence, and he's very, very proud of his meth cooking skills. And when Lydia came up to him at the car wash and presented him with the opportunity to get back in the meth game, to teach Todd or whoever else to make the meth, because the percentages were getting down in the 60s instead of the Walt's perfection 99.9, basically just reminded Walt of how awesome his meth was and his prowess as a chemist, and is basically getting back to what he likes to be, the boss in charge, all the power. And basically there's a part in episode 1 where we see Saul call someone, but we don't see, we assume that he's talking to Walt, but we do not see Walt answer the phone. Saul and Walt obviously speak at some point, but they don't actually show it. We assume, however, that these two are on the phone together when they talk, but we never actually see both sides of the conversation put together. And Walt's demeanor does not really match Saul's. He says, "Calm down." What Walt says that to what appeared to be Saul, but Saul seems a little stressed out, but it doesn't seem like it's to the point where he needs to be told to calm down in that kind of voice. Whereas Lydia, who would be someone who is constantly needed told to calm down, because she's always, she's always nervous. She's always on her edge because of the people are overseas are after her, because the crystal meth is becoming less and less potent, and they're on her ass for it. And she knows, because Mike almost killed her earlier in season 5. She knows that it could be her head if things don't get fixed. So she could be in a panic. So basically, what this theory is all about is that phone call that you see in that season 6, episode 1 was not actually placed to Saul. It was between Walter and Lydia, where he begrudgingly agrees to, quote, handling something, but doesn't really tell you what it is. At that time we assumed it was handling Jesse's situation with the money, but what it could actually be is handling getting Todd up to speed and dipping his feet back in the meth game. But that's just all speculation. And finally, the last part of this theory, or basically its own theory on itself, is that Jesse is going to commit suicide by the end of the season. Now, we all seen Jesse go on these huge benders when shit gets sad, when he had to kill what's his name, the meth guy. I can't think of his name. The second cook that he had to shoot right in the face. I forget his name at the moment. But after he killed him, he went on that huge bender. He had all these parties at his house, and he basically didn't have any meaning to life anymore. He just felt kind of worthless. That's basically how he feels after Todd shot that boy in the desert when they were stealing the methylamine from that train. He basically doesn't even want the quote-unquote blood money anymore, because it just reminds him of that. It reminds him of all the bad things that he's had to do. And he basically is, as you see in episode 2 of season 6, where he just starts throwing the money out, and he's just sitting on that playground, basically just sitting there spinning on that that merry-go-round in the playground, and with all the money on him. It really goes to see that he just doesn't give a shit about anything anymore, and that basically nothing matters anymore, and he's very much on suicide watch. He's got nothing to live for, it seems like. And what better way to have him keep his mouth shut than for him to commit suicide? It could be a way for Walter to get away with it. The other witness was Saul, who was a lawyer, who is not not supposed to. He can't, under the law, talk about his clients, so he's not a loose end. The other loose end would just be Jesse, because everybody else is either dead or didn't see anything going on. So basically, him offing himself would be a way for Walter to get away with this whole crime another way. But that's just all speculation. This is all just speculation, like I said, guys. I cannot wait till episode 3, where we have more information and might have more theories coming out after that. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. It'll be coming out next week, after next Monday, after the day after the next episode comes out. So make sure you guys subscribe for more of these videos. And not just these videos. I do all kinds of theory videos on cartoons and movies and video games. So if you guys want to see more stuff like that, if you guys are new around here, this is your first video you've ever seen, please go ahead and click that subscribe button. I promise you will enjoy the content around here. And I try to put out a couple videos a week for you guys. And if this video gets to 500 likes before the end of the weekend, I will do an extra breakdown video on the next episode of Breaking Bad. So make sure you guys are hitting that like button. And as always, guys, game the fuck on. Until next time, Peace out.
Job done.
Alright, thank you guys so much for watching this video. It's my first Breaking Bad video breakdown. So if you guys could go ahead and hit that like button, like I said, I'll do an extra one next week talking about some other stuff and some previous seasons for you guys, just to clear some things up. And I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll thank you guys so much for coming and subscribing. And that's it, guys. Have a good day and game the fuck on. Until next time, peace.